When I was still in college, I had my own dormitory, which was sometimes fun, but sometimes I felt bored because there was no one to talk to. All my friends had roommates, so sometimes it made me wish I had one too. But that's just how it was. I didn't really mind. I'm a very laid-back and sociable person, so I didn't make a big deal out of it. Like I said, for a whole week, someone would come and knock on my door, then run away. I guess because every time I opened the door, there was no one there. I was more annoyed than scared because I was bored with whoever was bothering me, and eventually they stopped doing it. Maybe because I stopped acknowledging them. I couldn't imagine it being fun to continually knock on someone's door and run away if they didn't even try to catch you. The next day, my friend Avery asked if I wanted to go to a party with her. I'm not a party or drinking person, but I felt very restless because someone had been knocking on my door every night for the past week. I lost sleep over it, as it showed how badly I really wanted to relieve myself, and I also felt like breaking out of my shell. I also felt bored, as you can probably see now. I had nightmares about what would happen at the party, but it was a blessing and a curse, so I didn't regret it at all. Something terrible happened to me then, but I didn't know that it would be the beginning of the rest of my life. More on that in a moment, but anyway, the party Avery was talking about wasn't the kind of party I expected. It was a dorm room full of people drinking, which I didn't think would be too fun. So shortly after I got there, I told everyone that I would be leaving soon, and my excuse was that I had a lot of homework to deal with. They all tried to convince me to stay, but I really didn't want to. Meanwhile, I saw a guy mixing drinks from the corner of my eye, and I saw that he put something in it. He couldn't just be adding something to someone's drink, I thought. He had his back to me, so he couldn't see that I saw what he was doing. I completely forgot about it in that direction while not hearing a word anyone else said to me. I didn't say anything about it until he tried to give it to me. "I'm not drinking that. I see what you're doing to it." Most people in the room laughed at me when I said that, and he played it off like I was crazy. "Oh yeah, what's that white foamy substance on top of it?" Then I asked. I then took the drink from him and compared it to everyone else's drink, showing them all that mine was the only one that looked like that. Clearly not fizz either. He tried to drug me. I think one of the guys there, whom I assumed in that moment wasn't involved in the plan, realized that I wasn't lying and stood up for me. He got beaten up by the other 3 guys at the party. I was very grateful to him, but I used that opportunity to leave. I ran to my dorm and started crying. I felt very guilty leaving him there, but there was nothing I could do. I couldn't tell the campus police either because we weren't allowed to drink alcohol in the first place, and they were very serious about that rule. I had a friend who was expelled earlier, just for getting caught drinking alcohol every day for the rest of the year. Every day for the rest of the year, everyone at that party bothered me and made fun of me for what happened that night. Even Avery started pretending towards me. The guy who defended me that night, we became very close friends after what happened, and we hung out every day. Well, now I'm married to him, and we've been in a relationship for 5 years now, and married for 2 years. We also have a daughter on the way, 5 months into my pregnancy so far, and we're in a very good place with our married life, and we're heading towards a very promising future. When I was still in college, I had my own dormitory, which was sometimes fun, but sometimes I felt bored because there was no one to talk to. All my friends had roommates, so sometimes it made me wish I had one too, but that's just how it was. I didn't really mind. I'm a very laid-back and sociable person, so I didn't make a big deal out of it. Like I said, for a whole week, someone would come and knock on my door, then run away. I guess because every time I opened the door, there was no one there. I was more annoyed than scared because I was bored with whoever was bothering me, and eventually they stopped doing it. Maybe because I stopped acknowledging them. I couldn't imagine it being fun to continually knock on someone's door and run away if they didn't even try to catch you. This happened when I was in my 3rd year of college, studying psychology, and I was far enough along to be a psychologist. The dorm where I lived was for women only. As I was about to fall asleep one night, I was awakened by strange noises in my room. My roommate was away for the weekend, so it clearly wasn't her. So initially it was a bit panic-inducing for me. I got up and turned on the light, but as I suspected, there was no one there. But then I noticed that my water bottle had fallen off my TV stand. I thought it was very strange, but I picked it up and decided to forget about it and lay back down. I turned on the TV and started watching Netflix because being woken up like that had made me a bit alert, and I didn't really want to go back to sleep again. Beside my bed, I have a bedside table, and suddenly I heard some loud noises, sounding like someone was banging on my bedside table, and then I started shaking quickly. I immediately jumped out of bed, but before I could even get up, I felt something kicking my butt from under the bed. I was confused, but I didn't linger there. I quickly left the room so quickly that both my shoes almost slipped off as I tried to put them on before exiting the door. I looked back. There was a man staring straight at me sitting on my bed with the most disturbing smile on his face. He looked to be in his 30s. He didn't say anything to me, and didn't chase me either. He must have sneaked into my room when I went to the bathroom earlier that night. I have a bad habit of not locking my door, but I really never expected something like this to happen, especially since I would only be gone for no more than 5 minutes. I ran upstairs to the dorm of my best friend. I knocked on the door like the police, hoping that she would be there. She let me in and I told her everything. I started to break down and eventually she calmed me down so we could call campus police. The police eventually found him and arrested him for harassment. Turns out, the guy was very calm, and he didn't even resist the police at all and fully cooperated with them. He told them that he was lonely, and he was just looking for a friend. Yeah, that made everything even creepier for me. The guy was really crazy. Even the police told me that he gave them an uncomfortable vibe when they talked to him. I haven't seen that strange man since then, but hopefully it stays that way. I woke up late for school one morning, but honestly, I wasn't too upset about it. I was actually kind of glad because it meant my school day would be shorter. I even stopped and bought breakfast at Tim Hortons on the way. I guess you could say I was relaxed. When I arrived on campus, I parked my car in the usual spot, and nothing felt different, except for being 1 hour and 30 minutes late. I walked towards the door I always used every day to enter the building, and when I tried to open it, the door was locked. I thought it was very strange, because I had been using the same door for over 2 years, and I had never experienced that before. I did the only normal thing anyone would do in that situation. I walked towards the back of the campus to try another door. When I got to another door, it was also locked. I decided to try one more time before giving up. I walked to the front of the campus so I could try to enter through the main door of the building, but it was also locked. At this point, I knew something was wrong. It wasn't a holiday or anything like that, so I didn't know what to say. I covered my face with my hands and looked through the glass door, and there were no signs of anyone strange. I sent a quick message to some of my friends asking what was going on. One of them immediately replied and said that the campus was in lockdown, and my heart sank. A million thoughts raced through my mind, but I knew I had to make a decision quickly. I wondered if it was a lockdown drill, or if there was someone actually lurking who could potentially be dangerous. I ran towards my car because it was the best option in my opinion. I ran through the grass while sticking to the side of the building, trying to keep my calm. I also tried my best to make sure I remained undetected before I turned. I peeked my head out and I saw someone dressed in black with a hoodie, to me, that looked suspicious, and I had a gut feeling that this was the person causing the lockdown. However, he hadn't seen me yet. He was now walking towards me. I knew if I didn't do something quickly, he would spot me as soon as he turned and do whatever to me. That's when I made the conscious decision to run. I ran towards my car, and before I had taken 5 steps, he started chasing me. I had a distance on him, but I wasn't sure if it would be enough to reach my car before he did. He ran at an angle, and I ran straight. He was either trying to reach my car, or I would have to run through the nearest trail forest from the campus. In my mind, I knew my car was my best shot, because he might be much faster than me, and would catch up to me quite quickly if we ended up running through the forest trail. I finally managed to reach my car, and I got in before closing the door. He grabbed its handle. I almost closed it even though he lost his grip on the handle, so he released it for a moment to try to slip his hand through the door, but I was quick enough to close the door on his fingers. He started screaming in pain, and that's when I drove off while crying and calling my mom. The man was eventually caught, and he was arrested. He's now in jail as far as I know, awaiting trial. He seriously threatened the school, and was also caught carrying a gun which he concealed in his pants. I wish I didn't go to school that day. If I were late again for class, I might have just missed the whole day altogether.